Hi all, welcome to Machine Learning Easy video 11. So in the last 3 to 4 videos, we are discussing how to handle missing data and how to handle categorical data, and outlier detection is also discussed in the previous video, video 10. So to watch all these videos, just go and watch my previous videos. In this video, we are discussing about feature scaling. What is the feature scaling? And this is also considered as one of the data pre-processing techniques. So for all these data pre-processing techniques, please refer previous videos. The link is provided given below. Okay, so now feature scaling. But before applying feature scaling, we will also see dividing the data set into training and testing split. Okay, so actually the feature scaling is applied after dividing the data set into training and testing split. So first we will see how to divide our data into training and testing set, and later we will see feature scaling. Okay, so splitting our data into training test set and testing set. So generally, if we are applying any supervised learning, this is a basic step. So why we divide our data set into training and testing set? For example, if we want to train the kid for learning of the fruit names, so if you give only 10 samples and teach him, that means the learning is over. So how can you know, how can he identify, are he able to identify the fruit or not? For that you need to test by giving 1 or 2 samples of fruits to him and ask what is this fruit. So generally if there is a data set consist of some 100% of samples, so we keep some 20% or 30% as a test data, and the remaining 70 or 80% is used for training data. So this is the good sign of using the data as training and testing sets. Of course, you can directly apply your machine learning algorithm whole data set. So, but how can you identify what is the performance of your algorithm? So that can only be done with giving your test set as the input. So that is the need of dividing the data set into training and testing set. So training set means on which we build the model. That means on which the learning phase happened. And testing set means on which the performance of the model is counted, or the performance of the model is measured. So in any supervised learning, we must divide our data set into training set and testing set. So generally there is no thumb rule. What is the percentage of training set and what is the percentage of test set? But the general split is either 70-30. What does it mean? 70% for training, 30% for testing, or 80-20. 80% for training, 20% of testing. So this type of split is generally used. You can also use 50-50, 60-40. So in the equation you can give any number, 70 or 80, whatever it may be, by using a Python. Or we will first see the implementation of this in R programming. How can we give this split? Also we will see. Okay, so consider this example. See, these two slides, the next two slides are very important, and these are applicable to any supervised learning. So all the supervised learning algorithms works with this principle. Okay, so just listen carefully. For example, consider your data set consists of 10 samples, 10 rows. So 0 to 9, that means 10 rows. Actually, if you use R programming, it is 1 to 10, not 0 to 9. This is a Python screenshots. That's why it is 0 to 9. Okay, whatever it may be, we are having 10 rows of data. So here, what is our task? Based on country, age, and salary, we are predicting yes or no. The person can purchase or not. That product can be purchased or not. Yes or no. So first task in our machine learning problem is identify independent and dependent variable. So I already discussed what is independent and dependent variable in previous videos, in the video 2 or 3, I think. But once again, I am telling, dependent variable is nothing but a variable which we are predicting, or the output variable. So by taking these 3 inputs based on country, age, and salary, we are predicting yes or no. So now this is dependent variable, purchase. You can also consider salary as a dependent variable based on country, age, and purchased or no. You can also predict salary. In that case, salary is as a dependent variable, all the remaining as independent variables. But in this case, I am considering country, age, salary as independent variables. That means these are the input. Based on these three, I am predicting purchased or not. So that column is a dependent variable. So now first we need to divide what are independent variables and dependent variables. See here, independent variables are these three in my case, and dependent variable is this one. So generally we use the notation X for independent variable, Y for dependent variable. Why we use X and Y, I will explain in linear regression. When we move on to our first model, I will explain why it is X and Y. Okay. So now there is another split which I discussed in the previous slide, training and testing split. That means, for example, consider 70%, 30% split. So 0 to 6, 7 samples are in training set, 3 samples are in testing set. So what does it mean? The algorithm learns on the above 7 samples. How it learns? If the country is France, age is 44, salary is 72,000, okay, purchased is no. That means, okay, if these three are the inputs, how the output is no. If these three are the inputs, how the output is yes. For third row, if these three are the inputs, how the input is no. That type of learning is done. So that is nothing but training data. So the learning algorithm works with only training data. And after learning, it has some model. What is the purpose of learning? After learning, it knows something. So after learning of all these 7 samples, now it creates a model for you. And we are testing that model using these 3 samples. That means, see here we know the answer for this 7th row, actually 8th row. So this one, France, 48, 79,000. We know the actual answer is yes. But as I told you, this is state set. So we are hiding this answer. We will ask our algorithm what is the answer. That can be yes or no. Similarly, we will ask this row what is the answer, yes or no, by giving these 3 inputs. Similarly, by giving these 3 inputs, we will ask yes or no. So in these 3 rotations or in these 3 tests, for example, your algorithm predicts correct predictions of 2. That means 2 by 3 is the your model performance. That means in 3, how many are labeled correctly? If 3 are correct, then 100%. So like this, the algorithm performance is measured using this testing set. Okay, see, here only 10 rows are there. So that's why I am showing as 7 and 3. But if there are more number of rows, there are some more data for testing. And also don't assume that first 7 are training, last 3 are test. Generally, if we use a random split, it will take a random 7 rows as training set. Of course, there is also another technique called cross validation. I will explain while we move on to the next algorithms. That is also another technique dividing into training and testing set. But this is a random split. So in the random split, any of the 7 rows considered as training set, the remaining 3 rows are considered as test set. Okay. So after this division, now you are having 4 boxes. What is this first one? We call it as X trains. X is independent variable. In the independent variables, this is training data. This is used for training data. And see, this is X test. So independent variable testing data. And this is S, Y train. So why we use Y? Y is always dependent variable. So this is training data, dependent variable. These are nothing but outputs. And this is Y test. That is in the testing data, dependent variable. So see what happens. So the algorithm learns on the above part, that is country, age, salary, and what is the output. Spain 27, 48,000, what is the output? Like that, it learns something. And after that, we will give this box as input and we hide these S, no, S. We ask the algorithm to predict that may give no, no, yes, no, 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 yes, no, yes, whatever it may be. Then we will check the performance. How many samples are correctly checked. Okay, like that, algorithm performance is measured. So this type of process is used in all supervised machine learning algorithms for regression algorithms or classification algorithms. What is regression, classification? No need to confuse. I will explain all these algorithms in the later videos. So now I will summarize this. What is it? For example, X train is the independent variables, as I told you. and X test is a nothing but independent variables testing data. Y train is a dependent variable training data. Y test is a actual result, and the algorithm learns on this training data, that is X train and Y train. It learns something from this data. It will see what is input, what is output, what is input, what is output. So it learns something. That's why the learning is happened on training data, and after that it built a model. So okay, these are the inputs, this is output. Like this, it learns something and it will create a model, and that model applied on testing data. So if you apply on the testing data, it gives some results. Those results we may call it as Y predict. As I told you in the previous example, the actual S no S are hidden by S. We are not showing to the algorithm. We ask the algorithm to predict what is the output S or no or S. For those three samples, it predicts something. That is Y predict actually. The algorithm predicted is Y predict. We are having the actual labels, that is Y test. So the actual answers are Y test. Algorithm predictors answers are Y predict. We will compare these two. If more comparisons are good, that means actual and predicted are correct, then the algorithm performance is good. Okay, that can be measured using some measures which we will discuss in the later sessions. Okay, so this is the process happened in every supervised machine learning algorithm. Okay, so how to do it in R program, or using R Studio, how can we do it, and using Python, how can we do it? So splitting data set into training and testing set in R, we can do it in several ways. Okay, this is the one way, using CA tools package. Okay, so in RStudio, first you need to install CA tools package. I will show you how to install it. This is method one. Install.packages of CA tools. Or you can also go to tools in RStudio and install. I will show you, not a problem. Next, use the split function in CA tools. So in R to import your package, we are using library of CA tools. Okay. So now set seed 1, 2, 3. For example, I have written seed. What is this seed is? See, for example, if you and me use the same seed, for example, I put 123. If you also put 123, the same rows of training and testing are splitted for both of us. That means, for example, consider 10 rows. The same 7 rows in training data is selected for both of us. If you use different seeds, the different 7 may be taken. So generally, why this is useful? For example, if we are 10 members, we are doing this experiment with the same data set, and we want same split of 70% training and 30% split, then we all use same seed. If you use different seed number, different random splits can be done. If you use the same seed number, same rows are selected for all of us. That is the purpose of seed. So this is any number, you can give any number, not a problem. And here we are using a split function in CA tools package. So here you need to give the data set. Data set is nothing but the object where we loaded our data set. I will show you. And this is the dependent variable name. And here you specify split ratio. If it is 0.8 means 80% is training data, 20% is testing data. So then what happens is it creates two splits. For first split, training set all are true. For the test set all are false. Okay, no need to worry. These true or false are for the split function only. We are not using anywhere in the algorithm. Here our aim is to divide it into 80% training and 20% split. For example, for all the 80%, it allocated one label, you may call it as true. For all the remaining 20%, it assigns a label, call it as false. And these labels are not used anywhere in the algorithm. Okay, you just ignore them. So what happened is you need to write like this. So training set is equal to, you can give any name here, subset of data set. That means the object which we used here is equal to split is equal to true. And testing set is equal to subset of data set of split is equal to false. If you write like this using these 3 to 4 lines, a training and testing split is done. Okay, this is method 1. I will show you in the RStudio. Okay, not a problem. And coming to method 2, you can also do with Caret package in R. So first you need to install Caret package. And in Caret package, we use a function create data partition. This is also a function like split. So this create data partition is also used for dividing the data set into training and testing set. So library caret, that means library caret is nothing but importing the packages. Okay, we are using that package. You can use split ratio here, similar to the previous one, 0.8 or 0.7. That means 0.8 means 80% training, 20% testing. That is the meaning. And here you need to give the train index. So this symbol is nothing but to equal to in R, as I already told you. And the function name is create data partition. Once again, the data set is nothing but this is a variable on which our data set is stored. I will show you. And this is the dependent variable name. And P is equal to split ratio we already specified, and list is equal to false. So with this function, you can divide your data set into two parts. First one is data underscore train, and second one is data underscore test. Okay, so data set of train index, that means the first 80% is taken into this data underscore train, and if you give minus train index, the remaining 80% samples are taken into data underscore test. This is a R syntax, no need to confuse. And here the random 80% split is done. Okay, so now I will summarize the methods before going to the practical session. So this is the method 1, use the CA tools package. This is the method 2, use the caret package. If you go for method 1, the function split is used. If you go for method 2, the function create data partition is used. Okay, so now we will try to see this in RStudio. Then we will come back here. So open my RStudio. So first we need to set the current directory. How to set current directory? Where my data set is there, I will go to that folder. For example, in my case, my data set is here in our data pre-processing, for example. So this is the folder. So click on the folder and go to more and set as working directory. So now I already written code, so that's why I'm opening that code. But if you are doing first time, you will type something and save in the same folder. Okay, so see this one. So now clear everything using this brush. See, I am loading the data set. So data set is equal to read.csv, and this is the file name. And this data set can be any variable name. You can give X, Y, Z, whatever it may be. So run it. What happens is, here the data set is loaded with 10 rows and so values. So now, so my aim is to divide it into training and testing sets. Okay, here some missing values are there. I already explained how to handle missing values, so I am not discussing those. Now I am directly going to use these packages. See, library CA tools, run it. But if the library is not installed, then here it shows error. So if we want to install it, just go to install packages and then type CA tools. So CA tools, TOOLS. Okay, and click on install. Okay, no need to type install that packages. You can install from tools also. I already installed. So now I am executing this code. Run. And see on the right hand side, so training set is created. See, total 10 observations of 4 variables. So now training set 8 observations of 4 variables, and test set 2 observations of 4 variables. So open training set 8 samples, and test set see 2 samples. And see what are these 2 samples. You will see by opening the original 35,000, 58,000 and S. So see 35,000, 58,000. This is the 6th sample actually. And what is one more sample? 50,000, 83,000, like this. So 53,000, 83, 50 and 83, 9th sample. So one is 5th sample, one is 9th sample. So randomly divides the training and testing data. Okay. So this is the division of training and testing data. Okay. So we can also use another method. What is that method? By using a create data partition. So I will try to show that also. I will try to show. how to divide using that package. So I am using in the same example. Okay. So after this, I will show you. Don't consider the remaining. Okay, just I removed everything. Now see, once again, data set is equal to read.csv. So this is your data set, 10 samples. So now by using this caret package, once again, library caret, if it is not there, install, go to tools and type and install, and see split is equal to 80%, run it. So now try to see what happened. So here the error is given, data frame is not defined. Why must have at least 2 data points? Okay, we will try to see what happened actually. Run it. Yes, you need to find the dependent variable name here. Why? So actually what is the dependent variable name? Purchased. So put purchased. So you need to write dependent variable, whatever may be, that is your wish. But in my case, as I told you, purchased can be considered as a dependent variable. So now try to run it. See, now once again divide it into data train and data test. So this is data train and this is data test. So once again, see here you can observe 8 observations of 4 samples, 2 observations of 4 samples. Total 10 observations. Once again, randomly Spain and NA. So where is it in the data set? We will see. Original data set. So this is 4th row. So like that, here there is no any order. Randomly it splits your data. Okay. So this is the data split division, and this is compulsory for all of our algorithms. That can be any algorithm we will test on some new data. That's why we need to divide it into training and testing sets. Okay, this is not an optional, this is compulsory for most of the supervised learning algorithms. So now coming back to feature scaling. So after dividing, we need to apply feature scaling. What is this feature scaling? Now we will see what is this feature scaling. Okay. See, feature scaling is a technique to standardize the independent features present in the data in a fixed range. What does it mean? Okay, don't worry. Consider age and salary in the previous example. See, age values are in between some 20 to 40 or 50. Salary values are in between, for example, 10,000 to 1 lakh in our case. If you subtract age from age, 40 to 30, the result is 10. If you subtract salary from salary, some 20,000 to 10,000, the result is 10,000. So there the difference is 10, here the difference is 10,000. But generally, if you consider mathematics, 10,000 is having more significance. But in our case, the difference of 10 in age is having same significance as the difference of 10,000 in salary. So what we need to do, so just try to give the same preference to the age. How can we do it? So how can we do it? Just try to range or scale all your values within a small range. That means you do a change in your data set such that the age and salary values are having equal importance. So that is feature scaling. That is the word scaling. That means we fit all the values of age and salary in between some fixed values. Okay. See, practically I will explain what is this. Okay. And there are two techniques used for feature scaling: standardization and normalization. So what is standardization? What is normalization? Okay, in standardization, all the values are fixed between -3 and +3. And in normalization, all the values are fixed between 0 and 1. As I told you, all the age values are in between -3 and +3. All the salary values are also between -3 and +3. So equal significance is given. If you use normalization, all the values means all age values, salary values, whatever may be the numbers in your data set, all the values are in between 0 and 1. Okay. So here it is not compulsory to apply this feature scaling for all algorithms. For example, you consider tree-based algorithms, decision tree algorithm. In those cases, actually, this is not so much important. And this feature scaling is important when we are applying distance-based algorithms like KNN. Okay, so while discussing the algorithms, we will discuss those concepts. Okay. So as I explained, these two are the techniques used for feature scaling. Standardization, that means it can be also called as standard score or G-score. And normalization is also called min-max scaling. Okay, this is the formula for standardization. So here x bar is equal to x minus mu by sigma. So what is this x? X is nothing but the age. For example, if you consider age, so for first row age is 44, but you are calculating new age x bar. X bar is the new age, x is the original age in first row. Similarly, what is new here? Mean, that is average value, and sigma is the standard deviation. Similarly, for second sample also, you need to consider second age and second new age. Third sample, third age, third new age. So like this, you can compute for all the rows values. Then you will get all the values between -3 and +3. How do you get between -3 and +3? Because of this formula, we are using mean and standard deviation. All age values are all salary values. Any value you give input, all are in between -3 and +3. Similarly, if you apply normalization, see the formula, it is very simple. We are using minimum and maximum values, x min and x max. So by using this formula, all your values, that can be age and salary in this example, what I am showing in the next slide. So all the values comes between 0 and 1. So the target of either standardization and normalization is scaling all the values, that can be in the tens or thousands or lakhs, between only a specific range by giving equal importance to all the values. Okay. And there is no hard rule which one is best, whether standardization based or normalization. There is no hard rule. So we'll try. Actually, I also told you this is not compulsory for all algorithms. So if it is necessary for the algorithm, first we will check what is the actual result without any feature scaling. Then we will check standardization and output, normalization and output. And why we need to standardize? So actually there are number of examples I have given. Now I am not explaining. In the algorithm I will explain. Actually the standardization is nothing but G-score. G-score, as I told you, which is based on the formula so and so variance. Okay, I will discuss all these while discussing the examples. Okay, so now I think it's better to do it in R. How can we do it in R? So for normalization, it is so simple. You need to calculate maximum and minimum values in each and every column, and then using on those, you need to write a function. But for using scale, there is a function in R programming. Simply use a scale function. For example, so if you want to apply it for the training set, simply training set is equal to scale of training set, and test set is equal to scale of test set. Okay, so simply scale function is used. So now I will show you how to implement it in R programming. Okay. So remove everything. The splitting all can be. So now see, consider our data set, run it. And now I am dividing it into training and testing set. Okay. So actually I already explained all the other examples. Other examples means handling missing data, and all those I already explained. So I am using all those. See, I am removing this type of splitting. Only I am using one splitting, not a problem. Now we will see. I just loaded my data set. Okay, this is already easy, but having some NAs, that means missing values. So I used the impute function. I discussed these missing values in fifth video. If you want to go to the fifth video, if you want to know how to handle the missing values, just go to the fifth video and listen it. But for using this impute, we need to use a library called as HMISE. Sorry, HMISE. Now, so just run it, and it is loaded. See, now open, there are no NAs. So actually, I will try to show you from the beginning. Okay, removed everything. Now if you load the data set, run it, what happens? Open it. Some NAs are there, missing values. So how to handle missing values I discussed in my 5th video. You just go to the 5th video and listen. But I executed here using HMISC package. Now open, there are no missing values. Okay. So now I am splitting the data by using this EATools package. As I discussed in 2 methods, I am using 1 method. Okay. So now 80%, 8 samples training, 2 samples testing. Now I am applying feature scaling. See these 2 lines, very simple. But why I have given 2:3? See, what does this syntax means actually? Comma before indicates rows, comma after indicates columns. That means, for example, consider this training set. So for this training set, if you consider age, for all ages we are applying the feature scaling, not only first row, not only second row, like that. So that is the meaning of here blank comma. Blank means all rows. For all rows of second and third column. What? Why second and third column? Open training set. See, country is not a number, so no need to apply feature scaling. Similarly, purchase is not a number, no need to apply feature scaling. So for age and salary, we are applying feature scaling. So these are in second and third column. That's why if you use 2 column, column 3 means 2 to 3. That is second and third column, all rows. Okay, so comma before rows. If you leave it as a blank, all rows of second and third column in training set, and all rows of second and third column in testing set are feature scaled. Now try to open and observe the values 1.0, 1. The actual values are not like that. Some 44. See, in the training set, this is first row 1.01, but actually in the data set, first row 44. So feature scaling formula is applied. Standardization formula is applied. For salary also it is 72,000, but here 0.93. So after applying the formula, all the values comes between -3 to +3. If you observe this data set, age and salary, there is no value greater than +3, no value less than -3. Similarly, we applied for test set also. See, all the values fixed between -3 and +3. So simply use the scale function. If you want to apply for the normalize, you need to write a normalize function. Okay. So this is about splitting the data and apply feature scaling in R. So in the next video, so I think with this we completed the data pre-processing techniques like the handling missing data, handling categorical data, outline detection, feature scaling. So in the next video, I will explain all these things in Python, how to implement all these data pre-processing concepts in Python. And later we enter into the machine learning algorithms. Okay. So there is a link provided in below this video. Try to see the link and watch the remaining videos. If you like this video, like and subscribe. Thank you.